Okay, so picture this. It's the late 90s. You're an executive at Chrysler, and you've got this icon, the Jeep Wrangler, but sales are just, they're falling off a cliff. So you do the smart corporate thing. You pour millions into market research.
Right. You get the focus groups in. You ask the people who actually buy the car, what do you want from the next Jeep?
And the answer comes back, and it's totally clear. They say, we want it smoother, more luxurious, we want it fully enclosed. Basically, turn the Jeep into a fancy SUV.
And that's the logical move. You give the customer what they say they want.
Exactly. But then this French cultural anthropologist, Clotaire Rapaille, comes into the boardroom. He looks at all your expensive data, and he basically tells you your customers are lying to you.
Which is, I mean, that's a bold opening line for a consultant.
A very bold line. He says, if you actually listen to them, you will kill this brand. And my first thought is, why would we believe him over our own customers?
Well, because Rapaille's entire theory is that people don't actually know why they do what they do. They're not lying maliciously. They're just giving you an answer from the wrong part of their brain.
The wrong part of the brain. Okay, you've got to unpack that for me. That sounds a little out there.
So he uses this framework, right? Think of the brain in 3 parts. On top, you've got the cortex. That's your logic, your intelligence. It's the part that gives the smart answer in a focus group.
I want better fuel economy, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Then you've got the limbic system. That's emotion. But deep down in the basement is the reptilian brain. It only cares about survival and instinct. And his big idea is that the reptilian brain, it always wins.
It overrides everything else.
Every single time. So Rapaille's job is to ignore the cortex and talk directly to the lizard.
So how did he do that for Jeep? I mean, what does a lizard want with a car?
He ran these things he called discovery sessions. He'd get people to lie on the floor, relax, and talk about their very first deep-seated memories of Jeep. He bypassed all the logic.
And what did he find?
He found that for Americans, the deep unconscious code for Jeep wasn't SUV or luxury. The code was horse.
A horse.
Yeah, a horse. Think about the American identity, the Wild West, freedom, the frontier. A horse isn't smooth and quiet. It's rugged. It's open to the elements.
So he told Chrysler, don't you dare enclose this vehicle. Keep the doors off.
Exactly. And this is the craziest part. He told them to change the headlights from square back to round.
Why?
Because horses have round eyes.
Wow.
The square headlights felt subconsciously wrong to people. It broke the code. And the amazing thing is, Chrysler listened, they made the changes, and sales just exploded.
So that's the whole idea behind this deep dive. We're getting into the culture code to figure out these unconscious meanings that drive our behavior.
Yeah.
And it all starts with how these codes get into our brains in the first place.
Right. He calls it the imprint.
The imprint.
Yeah.
This is the idea that our brains are like wet cement when we're kids, right?
Pretty much. Before you're about 7 years old, any strong emotional experience linked to an object or an idea creates this permanent neural pathway. Once that cement hardens, it's incredibly difficult to change.
Like the famous Nestle story in Japan.
Oh, a total marketing disaster. Nestle saw Japan's booming economy in the 70s and thought, great, let's sell them instant coffee.
It makes sense. They loved Western products.
They did. But nobody bought the coffee. Because for the Japanese who grew up on tea, coffee had no emotional imprint. It was just this weird, bitter, foreign drink.
So what do they do?
Rapaille told them to stop selling to adults. He said, you have to create the imprint first. So Nestle started making coffee-flavored candies and desserts for children.
Get them while they're young.
It sounds a bit cynical, but it worked. A generation of kids grew up associating the flavor of coffee with fun and sweetness. 15 years later, Nestle relaunched Nescafé, and now Japan is a massive coffee market.
They had to build the road before they could drive the car on it. So if these codes are locked in so early, it means every culture has its own collective personality.
And that's his unifying theory for America. He argues that as a culture, we are essentially an adolescent.
An adolescent. That doesn't sound like a compliment.
It's not meant as an insult, more of a developmental stage. Think about it. Old European cultures, they're like the grandparents. They value tradition. America, we're the teenager who rebelled and ran away from home.
We never killed the king like the French did. We just left.
We just left. So we're stuck in the state of perpetual rebellion. We've got all this energy. We're moody. We think we're invincible. And we're fascinated by what he calls wacko behavior.
Like celebrities acting out.
Exactly, because we're constantly testing the limits, convinced they don't apply to us.
Okay, if we're a nation of teenagers, that must make our relationships complicated.
Oh, absolutely. Which brings us to the code for love. And this is where it gets a bit uncomfortable for people. The American code for love is false expectation.
False expectation. But we invented the rom-com. We're obsessed with love.
We're obsessed with the search for love, the dream of it. In Italy, the code is comedy, it's fun. In France, it's pleasure. In America, it's a fairy tale. We're looking for Prince Charming, the one who will complete us.
An impossible standard.
Precisely. And when our partner turns out to be a normal, flawed human, we feel betrayed. We try to fix them, and when that fails, we move on. He actually says our high divorce rate is totally on code. It's part of the search.
And it gets even darker when you look at seduction.
Yeah, this one is rough. The code for seduction in America is manipulation.
Oof.
When he did his sessions, Americans didn't use words like romance. They used words like tricked, trapped, danger. We don't see it as a playful game. We see it as someone trying to get something from us.
That explains why the L'Oreal ads didn't work at first.
Totally. They're a French company, so they tried to sell sex and seduction. It failed. It triggered that manipulation code. So they changed the slogan to, because I'm worth it.
Ah, making it about self-empowerment, not attracting someone else.
Right. It's for me. But if that's bad, the code for sex is. It's the one that really shocks people. He says the code is violence.
Okay, now wait a minute. I have to push back on that. That sounds way too extreme.
I know, it sounds awful, but he's not talking about criminal violence. He's talking about the language and the energy. Just listen to the slang we use.
Hit on, bang, smash.
It's aggressive. It's about impact. There's this weird cultural tension where you can show a gruesome murder on primetime TV, but you can't show a woman breastfeeding. The reptilian brain has sort of merged the intensity of conflict with the intensity of intimacy.
That adolescent extremism again. Yeah. Everything is all or nothing.
Exactly.
Let's shift to something a little less intense. How about our bodies and health? We have this massive fitness industry, but we're also facing an obesity crisis. It's a paradox.
It is, and it's because our code for health is totally different from other cultures. For Americans, the code for health is movement. Yeah. We don't really care about the absence of disease. We care, can I still do my mission? Can I go to work, run my errands, play with my kids? If I can move, I'm healthy.
That explains that tragic thing where people retire and then their health just plummets.
It's so common. Because if you stop moving, if you stop having a mission, your reptilian brain thinks your purpose is over. It basically starts shutting down.
So if health is movement, what's the deal with obesity? That seems like the opposite of movement.
This is maybe his most profound and controversial point. He says, for many Americans, getting fat isn't the problem, it's the solution.
A solution to what?
The code for fat is checking out.
Checking out of the rat race.
Checking out of the rat race. The pressure to be attractive, the brutal competition of our adolescent culture. It's an unconscious way to say, I'm not playing this game anymore. It's a suit of armor.
Which is related to our obsession with staying young.
It's all connected. Because we're an adolescent culture, we refuse to grow up. So the code for youth isn't a stage of life. The code is ask.
Something you put on.
Right. Hair dye, plastic surgery, acting like you're 25 when you're 50. In other cultures, aging is about gaining wisdom. In America, it's a battle to keep the mask on.
A battle we fight at work. I mean, the first question anyone asks you at a party in the U.S. is, so what do you do?
It always is, because the code for work is WHOUR.
It's your identity.
It's your entire identity. In Europe, work is just a thing you do to live. Here, if you lose your job, you don't just lose a paycheck, you have an identity crisis.
Like that Ritz-Carlton example in the book.
A brilliant example. The staff felt like servants, which goes against the American Code of Equality. So they created the motto, we are ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen.
It reframed their entire identity.
Instantly. They weren't servants anymore, they were peers. And service quality shot through the roof because their work now gave them a powerful, dignified identity.
And the proof of that identity, the scorecard, is money.
It is, but not in a greedy way. The code for money isn't wealth. The code is PRO.
Proof that you're valuable.
Exactly. We don't have a monarchy or a class system. So how do you prove you're good? You prove it with what you've earned. That's why we respect the self-made billionaire, but we're kind of suspicious of the person who just inherited everything.
They didn't earn the proof.
They didn't earn it.
So we work hard for the proof to buy things, but we have a strange relationship with quality. We want things to work, but not too well.
It's a total paradox. For Americans, the code for perfection is death.
Death. That's intense.
Well, think about it from an adolescent perspective. If something is perfect, it's finished. The journey is over. There's nothing new to look forward to.
And we're obsessed with the new and improved version of everything.
We live for the upgrades. So the code for quality isn't perfection. It's just, IT works? Is it functional? Does the car start? Great. We're happy with that because we know we're going to want a new one in 5 years anyway.
This pragmatism definitely extends to how we eat.
Oh, absolutely. When you travel, it's the first thing you notice. In France, food is pleasure. In Japan, it's art. In America, the code for food is fuel.
We're just filling up the machine.
Filler, we have pit stops, not restaurants. It's why things like energy bars and Red Bull are so huge here. They're not selling taste, they're selling high-octane fuel to keep the machine moving.
But there's one meal that's different. The family dinner.
Yes. The code for dinner is essential circle. And the key word isn't essential, it's circle. It's not about the food, it's about the geometry.
The geometry.
The shape. Everyone gathered around, facing each other. That's why pizza is the perfect American meal. It's a circle. Everyone reaches into the middle. It's about connection.
And that circle usually happens at home. What's the code for that?
The code for home is interesting. It's actually just the prefix RE, as in RE.
Correct.
Return, reunite, reconnect, renew. Home is the one safe place where we can repeat our rituals and feel secure. It's why we all have those unopened boxes in the garage that we move from house to house.
I am so guilty of that.
We all are. That stuff isn't junk. That stuff is home. It's the anchor that lets us feel safe enough to go back out into the world and compete.
And when competing gets to be too much, we might turn to alcohol. And our code for that is also very adolescent.
It's pure rebellion. Because we hide alcohol from kids, unlike in France where it's just part of a meal, we imprint it as a forbidden thing you do when you're a teenager. So the code is intoxication.
The goal isn't to enjoy it.
The goal is to get drunk as efficiently as possible. I mean, the beer hat, where you can drink 2 cans at once, is a uniquely American invention. It's pure, efficient rebellion.
Okay, so let's try to pull this all together. We're a culture of adolescence. We're fueled by movement and proof, chasing false expectations and treating our bodies like machines.
When you lay it all out like that, it sounds pretty exhausting.
It really does.
Yeah.
So what's the big takeaway here? If all this is hardwired into our reptilian brains, are we just stuck?
I don't think it means we're doomed. I think the takeaway is just awareness. Knowing your code gives you a choice. The reptilian brain is powerful, but it's not smart. If you know you're only eating that junk food because your brain sees it as fuel, maybe you can pause for a second and choose something else. You can start to negotiate with the lizard in your head.
You can catch the reflex before it takes over.
Exactly.
But it leaves me with this one big, kind of troubling question.
Yeah.
Adolescence is supposed to be a phase you grow out of.
And that's the final provocative thought, isn't it? If our code for perfection is death, and growing up means settling down and stopping the movement.
And stopping the movement is also a kind of death to the American reptilian brain.
Do we even want to grow up? Or are we destined to be the world's oldest teenagers, forever chasing the next new thing until the wheels finally fall off?
That is definitely something to think about. On that note, thank you for listening to this deep dive into the culture code.
See you next time.